Hello and welcome. We are going to talk today about how to keep from getting into relationships with toxic people, with narcissists. My name is Lise Colucci, and I'm one of the life coaches over at QueenBeeing.com. So, I'm going to just jump into it today. If you have not hit subscribe, please do so. Hit the thumbs up, and we'll get going. I try to come on here live at least once a week. I've been trying to do more like 4 times a week. So, there's a lot of opportunity to get a live stream here. And also, if you ever have your own questions when you're on here live, go ahead and add them to the chat and I will get to them. So this is always open till live Q&A if needed. Anyway, let's just get started. We're going to talk about avoiding a narcissist in your future. 10 tactics for avoiding a narcissist in your future, as well as a couple of ideas about why you're attracting them in the first place. Attracting them, why they are, anyone attracts a narcissist, okay, you guys, because a narcissist goes where a narcissist can get supply. They'll go to anyone they can. But why are you more attractive? Why are they, you know what I'm saying? All right. So, number one thing on this list of how to avoid a narcissist in your future is to educate yourself. Educate yourself on narcissism, educate yourself on red flags, understand the red flags. I have got a multitude, many videos on red flags, as do other people out there. So there is a lot of information out there. I will put some links of videos for red flags in the main description of each video of this video so that you can find it later on. But for now, educate yourself on the red flags. In fact, we just did one yesterday on covert narcissism. So, um, um, getting informed can help you. Hi, UNA, love you back. Getting informed can help you have at least a sense of um, awareness. All right. That's not enough. Being informed is not enough. Being informed is just one step. It's a good first step. It's a good step for anyone to understand because narcissists can come in any place in your life. It can be a coworker, a boss, a friend, and I mean it could be anyone, right? It's not necessarily just romantic relationships. It can be a family member, and it's not necessarily that you need to like narcissist run. It's okay. I'm dealing with a narcissistic person. That means they think this way, and that means they behave this way. That means I'm not going to engage in these ways. Does that make sense? Or you cut them off depending on what you need to do for your life. So, education is a good first step. It's a good beginning. It's not enough. It is very much not enough because people will, then what happens? You meet one, you hang out with them for a while, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. I should have known better. I knew all the red flags. Well, no, because it's not enough. It's not enough just to know them. It can happen because there's covert narcissists. There's many types of narcissism. You can educate yourself. You can be like someone like myself or like Angie and still have someone come in and then be like, whoa, okay, pull back, right? So it can happen. Anyway, so let's talk about other things since that's not enough. Number two, this is big. Boundaries, you guys. We've got to learn what those are. We've got to learn what they mean for you personally, what they are in your life, and how to implement them, how to hold them, and how to. So, nothing teaches you boundaries better than low contact with a narcissist. It teaches you about where the lines are crossed, where your lines are crossed, what it feels like when your lines are crossed within your body, within your emotions, in your head. It teaches you all of it, right? It's a horribly difficult, challenging, impossible place to live, right? But it does teach you a lot. So if you're low contact with a narcissist, use it. I always say if you have to be involved with something that is uncomfortable, something that is painful, something that is difficult like this, like dealing with a toxic person, use it to learn what you can about yourself because you can't get out of it. Right. This is if you're low contact and can't get out. You're co-parenting, you're or parallel parenting, whatever, and you're can't get away, right? Or a parent or a relative that you simply can't get away from. Use the information not to beat yourself up, not to go into the despair of dealing with them. Yeah, you're going to get knocked down when you're going low contact. When you're low contact with a narcissist, you're going to get knocked down a lot. You're going to have your boundaries stepped on. You're going to set a boundary and then they're going to come in from the side with something else and cross that line over and over and over because that's dealing with narcissists, okay? But what it teaches you is where your boundaries are. And the reason it's so uncomfortable and infuriating is someone's crossed them. So that doesn't mean that's a whole nother topic for another time about how to work low contact. And I just talked about it last week. But that's a good place to learn your boundaries. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that was a boundary. I now because a lot of people, when they've been with toxic people, when they've been in relationships with narcissists or other types of toxic people, they don't know what their boundaries are because they're so used to just trying to keep the peace, walking on eggshells. They're so invested in making the other person happy and making everything okay, and in letting that other person emotionally rule the entire relationship and house and all of that, that we don't learn what our boundaries are. Hello, Shastina. Thank you for being here and for modding this. Appreciated as always. Hello, Nisa. You're saying you separated 24-year marriage with a narcissist. This is helpful. Good. Thank you. I'm glad this is helpful for you. All right. Boundaries. What are those pesky things? Okay. We've got videos on boundaries. That's another one that I should probably link up here, and I should probably do another one. Maybe this where are we? Where are Thursday? Maybe next week. So um um I'm reading the chat and giggling. Sorry. Okay. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. One big one you can learn right now as we sit here. How do you want to be treated? Expect it. If it's not there, there's a boundary. That doesn't mean you got to force people to constantly and forever treat you the way you want to be treated. Healthy, good relationships have flexibility. They have highs and lows. They have moods. People have, it's not like perfect. Oh, yay, that person's perfect. They're safe. No, it's how do you expect to be treated? Kindness, understanding, empathy, compassion. Those are pretty basic, but they're pretty real. And when you're dealing with a narcissist, you get none of them. Well, you get kindness and you get fake compassion, but it's super intermittent and it's always transactional. I'll give this to you if you give that, there's all the things that go with narcissism. So how about fair? How about like think about it? And those are the things that if you can keep clear in your head and someone's not doing it in a new relationship, back out, right? That is a big, huge thing when someone crosses your boundaries. Other boundaries too, pushing you to do things that are cross your moral lines. I mean, we could go on and on about the boundary pushing, right? But really a big one is how do you want to be treated? Now remember, a sociopathic person, a psychopathic person, they can get in quickly because they don't cross those boundaries early on. So again, this is not enough. Understanding and educating and boundaries, not enough. We got to go on to the next thing. All right. Um, and okay. So number three, self advocate early on. Okay. So you set these boundaries, or you have something you see you don't like, or you have something you want to do and they don't want to do it, whatever it is. You self advocate early on for yourself. You stop trying to people please in order to get people to like you. Break that codependent, break that people pleasing trait, whatever you want to call it, and just advocate. No, I don't actually want to do that, or I actually would rather do this, or have a clear voice that is your own self advocating for whatever it is you need to do. Keep your distance early on so that you're not jumping right into someone else's life. You're not jumping right into fixing their problems. You're not jumping right into all of the things that make codependency big in our lives, right? And don't overshare. That's another boundary that you have with yourself, but it's also a form of self advocating where you give the information out as you see appropriate. Stop oversharing. Don't talk about your past traumas, your past relationships and all that early on with someone. You can say, "Yeah, I was in a difficult thing and yeah, it's over. I'm healing. I've been through stuff. It's we all have. Play it down. Don't overshare. Don't overshare with anything because a toxic person will or overshare on purpose with one thing and see where they go with it. Because a toxic person will use that information for the rest of the relationship in order to twist things. They're grooming you in the beginning. Toxic people are grooming you from day one, from second one. from before second one, from the moment they look at you across the room, from the moment there's eye contact. They're grooming you. So you don't want to give too much information really to anyone. Oversharing is uncomfortable for people who are not toxic, right? If someone's oversharing, you're like, why are they telling me this? I don't know them. Or they're going, wow, they really need to talk. And it can be really like uncomfortable. But for someone toxic, it's like, oh, yeah, give it to me, right? Okay, so stop that. Um, number, where are we? One, two, three, four. Have higher expectations for your life, my friends. Stop. Okay, say you meet someone. And let's not even say narcissist. Let's just say toxic person or a person that is unhealthy in relationship or an emotionally someone with a not very high emotional IQ, someone that is not safe, unsafe in relationship because of whatever reason they have in their life. Okay. So say you meet someone, and I'm trying to relate a real life story here without it revealing anything. So say you meet someone and they have all these problems with past relationships, and you overlook it because they're treating you pretty nice. And these problems all seem to be repeating the same thing over and over again. Okay, that's not a it's a little tiny red flag there going off, okay? Because of course we've had that, right? And we know that we know that we've healed and when we're safe in relationships. But here's the thing, they don't cope with those problems well. They don't, maybe they have your expectation for your relationship should not be caregiving somebody else. It should be somebody else who is able to caregive their own emotional life. And of course, you can be support as time goes on. Of course, you sometimes you're lifting them up, sometimes they're lifting you up. That's normal. That's healthy. That's the way it goes. That's the back and forth, right? But when someone from the early on, you can see it, it's like a heaviness or like a red flag or like you feel it. You feel that they aren't coping with their emotional life well, but you overlook it because they're doing other things. They're fun. They give you attention. We're going to get to that one pretty soon. So, yeah. Um I'm going to read some of what you guys are saying here. Boundaries are so hard. Hello, pocket full of sunshine. Boundaries are so hard. Just when I think I'm doing good, I slip or realize I guess I need a stronger boundary. Never ending. Here's the thing though, boundaries are never ending. Life is about moving through it and learning and growing, and situations aren't going to stay the same. If we had a cookie cutter life where things never changed, how boring would it be, right? I mean, not that we couldn't use a little boring in the way of emotional relief, but boundaries are that way because a good friend who is nice, who is friendly, who isn't toxic can push your boundaries, and just because like they want to go have fun and you're like, oh, I'm bored and I want to stay home and curl up, and they're like, no, let's go. I mean, that's pushing your boundary, right? But it's sometimes pushing a boundary is okay. It's getting you to push past your comfort zone. All right. And sometimes pushing a boundary is really not okay. And so we're learning every second that we're having interactions with others. Where's my boundary? Where's it? It's not like you need to think about it. Where's my boundary all the time? But you feel it, right? You catch it after it's happened because we're not sitting there thinking boundary, not boundary. That would be rigid and very difficult to live with. It's fluid. That's what I'm trying to say. It's in flux all the time and it's ever changing depending on your relationships that you have. And if you're dealing with toxic people, what you're describing there is the pattern. It's never going to stop that pattern. So you've got to learn to not react to when they cross that boundary and the boundary slips. Don't get mad at yourself. Just be like, whoop, pick it back up, start over. Where's the new boundary? Right? Okay. What else are we saying here? Toxic parent makes an empath a narcissist. It can. Okay. Okay, you're having a conversation. That's what we're doing. Okay. All right. So the next thing, where are we? One, two, I didn't number them. Three, four, five. Self reflect a lot. What you just did there, pocket full of sunshine, is self reflection. Okay. You catch your boundaries, being stepped on, slipping, whatever, and you start over. Self reflection without judgment. Self reflection gives you a chance after you've been around someone new, after you've been around someone not new, whatever, to feel how you feel about the situation, about yourself. If, are you picking up their energy? One way in which empathy works in me, and I don't know about you guys, but one way in which it works, and it's why coaching works for me as with other people, right? It's why I work as a coach because I feel and I hmm, it's like an intuitive feeling of other people's energy and other people's what they're going through. I don't know what they're going through. I can't say, "Oh, I know exactly what you mean." But it's like a feeling, it's a felt sense. And so when I'm with someone and I step away and I don't feel like myself, right? So I have a strong sense of what I am on my own, who I am of myself. So I'm able to tell, wait, why do I feel so self loathing right now? Oh, wait a minute. That person must be struggling with that. I wonder if they are. I don't know that they are, but it's an entirely a possibility. When you're with a narcissist, you get a feeling of giving all my energy, a feeling of, it's going to be different for everyone. So you learn, and I'm able to self reflect in that way. Other people, it's in their minds, and other people, it's in their feelings. Just depends on how you personally function, right? So self reflection helps. It's taking time away from the relationship to reflect on your own impressions in life. That's it. Your own impressions of what just happened, your version. Reflect. Don't judge it. You might catch things. You might catch good things. You might catch bad things, right? So, okay. Um, Nissa said, set a boundary of low contact. Of course, my narcissistic husband called and said, "Oh, we will talk again." We did, and I was so annoyed that I didn't stick with it. Just keep re-sticking with it. When you're low contact, they don't like it. They push, they push, they push, they push, they push. Okay, so you're up against exhaustion. You're up against all kinds of, it's not pleasant. So just keep coming back to it. Don't get mad at yourself. Keep coming back to it. Know that it helps break the trauma bonds. So to stay as low contact as you can, right? So try to get the contact in one place. Stop taking phone calls if you can. Say, hey, we're not going to talk on the phone. I only want email. If you have kids together, I only want the parenting app. All right. And then block all other forms of communication if you can. All right. Um, let's see. That's an interesting one. Here's the thing. And okay, UNA, can you repeat that when I'm done with these? What you just said there, I have something that goes with it, but I don't want to jump over because the focus, PTSD stuff going on in the head all the time. One, three, four, five. Okay, number six, be honest and not living in a fantasy. So you meet someone new, yeah? You meet friends, you meet people, whatever it is, doesn't matter what the situation is. And you get a fantasy in your head about what that relationship's going to look like. You get a fantasy about how they're treating you being 100% reality. How about just stay in the moment and let it be what it is instead? Try that. That will keep you from slipping into your idealized fantasy because what happens is you meet a narcissist, they idealize you, you idealize the relationship. Bang, it happens. You're both hooked and you're in it. Okay? So try not to go there. Catch yourself. Am I in a fantasy? Is this what I've always wanted? Oh boy, here we go. Okay. So if this is what I've always wanted, I gotta self-reflect more. I gotta set my boundaries. I gotta look for the red flags. I mean, we don't want to be out there just like super pessimistic, right? Because that feels horrible. Some people it's okay. For me, it's horrible. So um having these tools can kind of help you not have to be so pessimistic. Oh, UNA, the last thing you said about mixed feelings. Yeah. If I'll try to remember, but and I'm because I'm almost done here. Okay. Where are we? One, two, three, four. Number seven. Okay. Wait, or is this eight? Oh my gosh. Look what I do. Okay. Don't overlook things. When you're with someone new, this is a red flag thing, but it's one we do easily because we go into the fantasy brain, right? Of what could be. We get excited. It's nice to be excited by new people. And it's scary and it's terrifying when you've had a narcissist in your past, okay? So don't overlook things like jabs they make, little jabs. Being rude to other people, being rude to you, jokes at your expense. when they admit fully what they are. Yeah, I'm not really good in relationships at all. Well, okay, take things at face value for a while. Try it. Okay. Um, the next one is rock solid self confidence. Rock solid self confidence. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. No, but really, self confidence that you're okay alone. You don't need this person. You are here because you want to be here, not because you need to be here. You are not here to serve them. You're here to hang out with them, to be with them, to understand them, to learn about them. And for yourself. You're there for because you enjoy it. You are able to know your worth. Okay? You are not going to lower your expectations. You're not going to lower your standards. You're going to have a window of expectations and standards, and they're all going to be reasonable, but pretty high. High meaning I will be treated with respect. I will have kind, compassionate, affectionate, empathic people around me. I will, those kind of things. Those are high. Those are high for our standards, but they're pretty basic for people who don't want toxic people in their life, right? Okay. Okay. And we can talk more about how to gain self-confidence on another video as well, because that's huge, right? Okay. So avoid controllers. Avoid them. If someone's being controlling of your time, of your texting time, of your family time, of your like early on, of it's too big a red flag. Now, by avoid. Sometimes people get anxious, okay? And they might if you say to them, "Hey, I need a little space. Go back to your boundaries." And they don't give it to you. Bye, right? It's not worth it because something's up. They're controlling for some reason, and it's not usually a good one. So, yeah. Did I get them all? Two, three, four. I think I did. I think I did. Okay. If I missed one, then it's 9. Sorry. Okay. Um, Next time I will number and be better. Okay. Mine used to text all day when I was at work. Yeah. Yeah. You know, a sociopathic person, there are sociopaths who like the long distance relationship because they're antisocial personality disorder. They don't Antisocial personality disorder can also have friends and people around them. What I mean what I the way I interpret it as it relates to some don't, okay, but some can. They also don't have deep they use people. They just happen to use a lot of people, right? And there are some that can maintain long distance relationships. They can also do it in person, but I've heard this over and over and over with clients. Long distance relationship, everything's perfect on paper. Perfect words, always attentive, always available, always interested in what you want, always interested in your needs, puts you first, puts themselves underneath you. The second you're in real life or the second they don't get their way, the second that you say, "You know what? You are really consuming a lot of my time." Well, you wouldn't say it like that because they're so nice. You'd say, "Gosh, I'm not having enough time for myself. I should take some time." They might give it to you for a while, but in real life, oh no. No, 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 no. That's when they flip. They'll flip, they'll turn. They will be the polar opposite. Um, you only met one, it was so creepy. Yeah. What's creepy about it is they're one thing, but they're really not. A narcissist wears a mask. And so there's this befuddled, confusing, many masks going on thing with a narcissist. You know what I mean? With a sociopathic person, bam, it comes off. It is off. Ugly difference between the ones that can put themselves together, make themselves exactly into what you want. Creepy. It's yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, okay. Let's talk about let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that might be reasons that you are attracting this kind of person, or when they do when okay, again, narcissists will go to anyone who will give them attention. They want supply. They want it. They'll go to anyone. But certain people are better supply, right? Early on. So let's learn to not be such good supply. That doesn't mean let's learn to be bad friends or let's learn to be cold, cut off, distant, horrible, icky people that nobody wants to be around, right? Number one thing with an empathic person, we have got to learn how to feel empathy for someone without giving a response to that empathy to them. There's so many people who feel sorry for their toxic partners, who feel empathy, who feel guilt, shame, whatever it is for not talking to them. Who logically you think this person hurt you. You owe them this much. Nothing. Nothing. And from where I sit, I get angry at the toxic person, not at the person who's telling me, of course, because there's this nice, wonderful, caring person, and all this loving energy is being poured into the void. So we have got to learn that we can feel all of that. We can feel bad that they're alone. Sure. We can feel bad that they are suffering because they can never have a loving, healthy relationship. We can feel what we feel through our empathy. But don't give a response based on that empathy to someone who's toxic, because that's supply. That isn't offering of caring, giving, compassion. It is simply supply. And it is burning your energy out. It's using you, it's hurting you, and it's making it so you can't see. It's making you think that being an empath is a bad thing. Or having empathy is hard. Um You need to keep it realistic. Yes. 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 You get it? You get it. Um, yes. I'm reading what you guys are saying. Okay. Yeah, you guys got it. You got it. It's a tool. It's a difficult thing to learn. It feels cold. Okay. Here's how I look at it. I relate to people and empathize. Um, I empathize a lot with people, but I don't offer a response based on my empathy unless there's a real relationship or unless there's a real need of someone I don't know. If it's someone I don't know, I don't care I'm just going to do what's needed, right? But if interpersonal relationships, if it is someone who is void of empathy, does not have any, I'm going to respond to them in accordance with who they are. If it's a shark, I treat it like a shark. That doesn't mean I don't care when the shark is wounded. Of course I do. I'm just not going to stick my hand in there and soothe its fin, whatever they have. You know what I mean? I'm not going to put my hand near the shark's mouth or the shark's wound or anything. I'm not going to go and get invested in it. I can still feel bad that the shark's wounded. I can maybe call someone with the proper tools to help it. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to get invested in it. We have to look at it that way, I think, and learn to take this compassion we have based on empathy and place it elsewhere in life where people who can receive it. A narcissist can't receive it. They just eat it. They just take it, right? Okay. Um what do you say? Which is hard, Em? What's hard about it? Talk more about that. Maybe there's a way to help perspective shift a little bit. Let's see. What are we guys saying? And that relates to what you were saying. You and you and A, sorry. You said, I have mixed feelings, to be honest. The toxic people have passed away. So I hope they're happy and can accept true love in heaven. Okay. That's a perfect, perfect, perfect use of empathy. You're just pouring love into the universe, into the world. That's a form of forgiveness, right? For yourself, not toward them. You're not being drained by that. Now, if they were alive and you're like, oh, let me make them happy, let me give them love because they need it, because they're so void of blah, blah, they don't have empathy, yeah, then you're pouring into the void, right? Does that make sense? So I think those mixed feelings, it's okay. You just sit with them, right? Oh, hello, Carrie. Carrie, can you give examples of what to say to them? Can you ask that, like, a little more? Because when I talk this much, I don't track. So, what to say to them regarding what? Um, M is saying resisting the urge to give and the lingering shame of guilt of holding back. You're holding back from a person who hurts people. It's a boundary. I feel this. I think of people who go out in the world like the Mother Teresa types, or like they give of themselves. I mean, that's extreme, right? That would be extreme cases, right? But I think of people like, how do they preserve and protect their own well being? There's got to be a way to give without. Okay, part of it is you're giving for reciprocation. To be, if you're honest with yourself, most likely you're giving for some form of reciprocation as well. You're not just feeling bad for someone. Like, it's like we can't fix and heal and protect and love and nurture every human being in this world. They're just another person. That's how I look at it. Boom. Okay, I feel bad. I feel bad that they suffer with this. Okay, that it isn't. There's nothing I can do about it. I wish them well, or I wish whatever you need to say to yourself to let it go. That it's not yours. It's codependency that makes us enmesh with it, right? Okay. Carrie's saying when they're looking for empathy. Well, it would be like if, like, say it's a toxic parent and you have low contact and you say, "Why don't you ever call me? I'm so alone," and blah blah blah. You can say, "I'm calling you right now. What do you want to talk about?" "Hey, that's great." Blah blah blah, and you just change the subject. Or if you really really feel guilty because you really like, you just have those moments where you're like, "Wow, that person is really, it's pretty sad how they've lived their life," right? If they're looking for empathy, they're looking for supply. Give them minimum. If you feel it and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I feel guilty for not engaging more with my toxic mom. I should talk to her more." Think about it. Is that really good for you? Is that good for the relationship? It's not. It's not good for the relationship to engage with a person you're low contact too much, because it escalates the problems in the relationship. Not because of you, but because they're unhealthy in it. It enables them to have more of a chance to be toxic, which isn't good for them. That's how I look at empathy with someone like that. Um, okay. What are we saying here? Okay, I'm going to keep going. Low self worth. Second thing here about how what you might be doing is you might have a low self worth. We talked about raising your self esteem in the first part, having low self worth, low self esteem. It's really important that you learn who you are and that you are worth something. You're worth a lot. You're valuable. You have intrinsic worth as a human being, and you're a good person. So you not only are you just like, you look at little kids walking around, right? I do. I look at little kids walking around and I think, every single one of them's worth something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that one's worth something and that one's not, right? That would be weird thinking in my mind. Well, we're just little kids in big bodies, as a child once told me with his wisdom. We're just little kids in big bodies. We all have worth. Does a narcissist have worth? Probably. It's not an emotional worth in a relationship, but they might have worth something for themselves. Whatever. It's not our problem, not our business. Do we have worth? Absolutely. Find it. Find your self worth. If you don't know your self worth, they will tell you what your self worth is and then pull the rug out from underneath you. It's a place that they get in. Your vulnerabilities, they see them. I have had one see it from a distance and use someone else to come after me to make me feel bad about that place I feel low about myself, with a flying monkey. Oh yeah. That didn't even like, it was so orchestrated and so masterful. I thought that must have taken a lot of effort. So when you think about giving empathy to these people, think about things like that. And stop, right? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, those places where we have vulnerabilities in our self, and we don't nurture those places with building self-esteem, self-worth around it. Those are like big gaping holes the narcissist comes right into. Okay. So shore them up, figure it out, find your worth. Okay. All right. Um, my self-worth vacillates. Sometimes I'm good, sometimes I slip. The other day I slipped and I did a major purge, deleted again everything I posted about two on two Discord sites. It's okay. Yeah, I'm saying this like all you have to do is go find your self-worth like in your pocket, you pull it out and then there it is. No, I understand. This is again, this is all places we work on ourselves. This isn't to make anyone feel like they can't do it or they're bad or they don't know how. This is ideas that then hopefully you take and go do some more research or ask me, hey Lise, do a video on finding your self-worth, that kind of thing, right? And and then we talk more about it. These are ideas to help you improve yourself so that you're shored up from the inside while you're doing the other stuff, which is more on the outside, right? Okay. Um, Okay. Next one. I think this is the third one. Um, do not deny your needs anymore. Stop it. Stop denying your needs. Stop denying yourself. Include yourself in the equation. When you say everybody here matters, do you think about you too? My guess is not many of you, right? If I said this is for the good of everyone, are you including you? Make sure you do. Learn to. Learn to think about it. Stop. Do that self-reflection, daily self hourly self-reflection, whatever it is. Am I including me in this? I'm actually not. What I need is, okay, I'm going to take care of that need and other people and the world around me as I see fit. Okay. All right. The next thing here, number 4, you could possibly be love addicted. Okay. If you are, just own it. Move on. Understand that your need for attention from others feels really vital in your life. Your need for the validation from the opposite sex, your need for validation from the same sex, whatever it is, right? Your need for validation from the outside and the feeling of love in the beginning that's so wonderful and so fluttery and so good. You're kind of addicted to those hormones that go on in your body. Okay. That's a place a narcissist loves to get in because what do they do in the beginning? They love bomb. It's the perfect, right? Fits together. So, it's a trick question. It's all a trick question. This is meant to get you thinking, not to make you feel bad or like you can't do it. Okay? This is all just meant to get you thinking, to get you to do the research, which is the very first thing, which is educate yourself. It's not just educate yourself about them. We do that a lot, right? We got to educate ourselves about ourselves so that we know how it fits together, so that we can then stay separate. Okay. Yeah, love addiction, the feeling like I know of someone and she actually admitted, she said, I just keep starting relationships and then at about 3 months I end them, and she's not a narcissist, she's a nice person, but she said it's just that the feeling goes away. She's love addicted, she's addicted to those feelings, right? And it's really hard for her to, she's had a lot of stuff, and so it's hard for her to connect beyond that and go through the time of the relationship, right? So pay attention to that. If it's not romantic, you could be attention addicted. Okay. Friendship addicted. I know people, they call it falling in love with new friends, or what is the word? I can't think of it. Anyway, it was a really cute way of putting it, that having a girl crush, so to speak, that kind of thing, where you just love your friend so much when they're new, and it's exciting and you get all this great attention and this great energy. We can get addicted to that, and we can let toxic people in through that. So it's okay to feel it. We just got to learn how to manage it. And again, that's a whole long topic. So we can come back to that too. I think any one of these points would be great half-hour talks, right? Okay. Let's see. Carrie, does that make sense? We remember the dangers of the trauma bond. You are never going to get proper validation from a cluster B personality, only love bombing, hoovering at best. Right. Right. We have to remember that when we're giving them our empathy, we can't expect anything back if you're giving from it. You can feel empathy without giving of that empathy. Does that make sense? We're always feeling empathy. It's the way it is, right? Don't let guilt and shame pull you into action. That's the thing. All right. Here's and here's one that you can't help if it happened to you. You can't help it if it's happening to your children. They grew up with a narcissist. You grew up with a narcissist, you're more prone to attracting, so to speak, narcissists because it's what you're used to. It's your normal, it's your average, it's what you know. You don't know any different. You don't know better. Or you know better, but it feels like home, unfortunately. Okay? That horrible all of the stuff feels like home. So we've got to learn to go to a foreign country, right? And not be home, be somewhere new. And really learn the signs, really learn about yourself, really shore up your boundaries, shore up your feelings of guilt and shame, all of that so that you're not susceptible. And again, like back to what we were saying in the beginning, this is so much a work of like it's throughout your life. It's not one thing. You don't have to like do a list of things. Now I'm safe. No, this is going to be in play and in flux because people are organic beings, right? Doing their thing. Someone might behave toxic. They're not a narcissist, not good for your life. Someone might be awesome, start showing toxic traits, and they need to work on it. And we need to be, so we need to adjust accordingly so that we're being true to ourselves, true to the situation, and also safe from toxic people. Does that make sense? It's just the way it is, right? It's just staying narc free isn't really a thing. They're out there. It's okay. We don't have to let them in, right? We don't have to let them in too deeply. Sometimes we do have to let them in. They're a boss, they're a coworker. There's nothing you can do. So you learn how to handle it without letting them in. It's getting, someone put it this way, it's a Teflon skin. Bang, psh, just pours right off you, whatever the narcissist does. Doesn't matter, right? And then you become the most boring supply in the world and they move on. Yeah. Um, okay, you guys, do you have any questions today? Anything that you want to talk about? I am talked out of this right now, and I'm going to end unless you guys have questions. So go ahead. I'll stay on here for a couple more minutes while I sort of talk about what we've got going on over at QueenBeeing, and then we'll go unless there's something you guys want to talk about. Anytime you have anything you want to talk about, or if this video has brought up any questions or any topics that you want more information on, please let me know in a comment. I write them down. I try and get to them on live streams as much as I can. Or I can link you to one I've already done. Okay. So if you need that, let me know. If you need anything for coaching or group coaching, I have coaching available. It's in the main description of every video. It's also group coaching. It's beginning of the month here. So I'll just say it is a group on Zoom. We meet 3 times a week. And it's basically one-to-one coaching in a group setting. So you get a little bit of time each day to talk about what's going on, where you're at, what you need. And we go back and forth, you and I, and the next person does, and the next person does as you wish, or you sit and listen to the other people doing the same thing. And it's kind of like this, only it's interactive. And yeah, so if you need that, it's there. Try to keep the cost as low as I can, and keeps it going. It makes it doable for a lot of people. So check that out. It's in the main description if you need it. I can talk it up and make it. I mean, I can talk it up, right? Because I personally think it's a place where a lot of people have found both community healing and validation. Um, One thing I try to offer there is a safe friend, right? Obviously, it's not like we're friends, right? But it's like a safe place to feel. What's the word? Anyone in there, help me out. What do you feel in there? It. I could talk it up. Talk to other people who have been and ask questions on forums. If on QueenBeeing forums, if you have questions about it, people will answer. Okay. Um, so it doesn't matter where you are or who your narcissist is or was, where you are in your healing. It doesn't matter. We're all there. I will be starting a group time for people who do not have narcissists in their life, who are well into their healing and have come to a point where they're like, I need help again. Okay. Who they don't want to be in a group with people newly leaving or whatever else because it's triggering or they're like really trying to push past. So I'm going to start a little separate time for that this month. So if anyone needs that and they're like, well, I don't really, but I'd love that. Okay, there it'll be there. So you can email me for questions on that. The the group sign up will probably be the same. You just let me know which group you want to be in. Okay. So, all right. And that'll be one time a week because it'll probably be a smaller group of people. Okay. I guess that's it. If you have not hit subscribe, please do so. Share these videos as you see fit and hit the thumbs up, all that good stuff. If you want texting notification of my going live, text me at 33222. Put Lise Live, Liselive, hit send. And I will only text you when I am about to be here. I try to do that most of the time. I've been better at it this week. Yay, right? Hey, Jack, hey, thank you again for being here as well and modding with Shastina. Thank you. And yeah, so if you need that, there it is. I'm going to take off and I will see you guys tomorrow. I don't know what we're talking about tomorrow. I think I said, and I don't remember. I'm going to have to watch this and see what it was. Okay. I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.